welcome to Soul GPS, where we learn to take our lives back in our hands after narcissistic abuse. And today I wanted to come to you with a video about dealing with the cognitive dissonance after having left the narcissist, or maybe perhaps you haven't left them yet, but you're thinking about it and you're feeling so torn inside about whether what you're doing is the right thing or the wrong thing, and you're remembering all of these wonderful things that you have done together and the things that maybe the narcissist did for you or to you, especially in the early days of the relationship, when they were romancing you, when they were love bombing you, where they were trying to get into your graces so that your guard would come down and they would be able to sneak their way right into your heart. And during that time, how wonderful it felt to have taken all these walks and have all these talks in which the narcissist was deliberately interviewing you and finding out about all of your aches and pains, vulnerabilities, your deepest longings and dreams, so that they can use it as an ammunition against you one day when they needed it. And then slowly, initially with these little hints and comments that were really deprecating and really hurtful, they started the process of undoing, the process of destroying you. At first, they bolstered you up. They filled all of these lacks that you have felt within yourself by telling you how great you are and how, they are seeing you for who you are. And for this first time in your life, you felt like somebody really heard you and appreciated you for who you are. And all of these broken parts that you have held within yourself, that you have carried, that have felt like you didn't want to look at it because it was too painful. Like suddenly none of them mattered because you found the partner who accepted you 100% for who you are. And it felt so good during that time. The feeling is what keeps us wanting to go back to be with the person that abused us, the person that has stripped us down to the core and then took a deep scan at what was happening and within us and then turned it all against us. So if you're feeling torn inside and all your brain is doing is remembering the best parts, remembering those conversations, remembering those romantic dinners, remembering when they were so keenly leaning in and listening to every word you had to say, like no one ever has before. And so now, as you're away from them and your body is feeling these withdrawals, it's like literally like addiction. And you can't put your mind straight because it's being pulled in two opposing directions. On one hand, remembering the good, but on the other hand, you just cannot deny the devastation that has occurred. How they have, at first, starting with little pins and needles, putting them into the most vulnerable parts of you with their comments and these little remarks that were seemingly wrapped maybe in concern, or maybe they were just joking and it wasn't a big deal. Like, how could you think that they would say such things about you? But then the abuse escalated. It got worse. The lever began to turn the other direction. And you started to feel like you were living with an enemy. Like you couldn't really quite tell whether you should say this or that, or you would, without causing a reaction or some kind of a negative response. And you would walk into your home or your place that you shared with the person and you felt like a stranger. You couldn't really feel comfortable anymore. And then you were looking for all of these little pieces of validation, if they would give those to you so that you could feel at peace again. And maybe they did it. Maybe once they sensed that you were pulling away too much, like you were starting to see through their game, they were thinking, well, then they will dose you a little bit with, making you feel like it was all okay after all. And then you felt good for a moment until the next wave came and they did it again, and they did it worse this time. And this whole back and forth, this whole confusion which is what the narcissist is so good at inciting, is creating an internal chaos, an internal confusion. And a mind in chaos is going to start projecting the chaos outwards, and therefore other things may start to get worse in life. Maybe something at work doesn't go well, maybe our bodies begin to hurt, maybe we start to be cut off on the freeway, or encounter really weird characters at the store. It's like this whole avalanche begins to come down. And so what I want to do here is I want to urge you to do the thing that instinctually maybe your body would not want to do. And that is, as you're sitting there with the pile of truth of how you were made to feel by the narcissist, and at the same time you're battling with this other pile of all these positive things that makes you want to miss them, that makes you want to go back to them, to feel okay again, to feel at peace, feel whole inside, which is really what's happening, is that it's the body's desire to find unity again instead of being pulled into opposing directions. That's cognitive dissonance. So as you're sitting there with all those feelings and emotions and memories, what you need to do is you need to remember the bad things, even though it may seem completely counterintuitive. But that is the right thing to do. The right thing to do is to protect yourself by making you remember, so that you will stay away from this toxicity, so that you find that inner resolve to know that what you're doing and the steps that you're taking towards reclaiming your sovereignty, towards reclaiming your sanity, is the right thing. That's how you begin to self-champion yourself, to tell yourself, yes, I know this is hard, this is difficult what I'm going through right now, but things are going to get better. And they are going to get better. You will get through this. You will get through this. I've been through this, and thousands of other people, if not millions, have been or are going through this. We're all in this together. We can make it. And the key to making it is to remember the truth, so we can heal the cognitive dissonance. What you have experienced that your body is longing for was an illusion. It was made in order to hook you in so you would enter the home of the narcissist, or the narcissist would be welcome to enter your home and your space. Once they did, they became the king of the lair. You became their servant. They're so masterful at playing the role of the master. And we followed along because all we wanted was to feel that wholeness. We wanted to feel like we were actually good people. And that comes from having not healed our souls from the past. So we walk around with vulnerabilities. We walk around not feeling whole. And yet we want to love. We want to love because that is the natural instinct of a human being, is to love another and to connect. So it's like these people, they're all around us, and they see that and they sense that, and they have this uncanny way of smelling those vulnerabilities and also smelling a good heart. Because no one who is selfish, thinks only about themselves, and puts themselves first would ever want to put up with the drama queen or drama king, such as the narcissist or manipulative person. They would just don't want to put up with it because they're dealing with their own stuff. Not the case with us. We were trained to help others before helping ourselves. It's oftentimes a lifelong journey. And at this point, if you're sitting there in confusion and pain, know that this is the end of that journey. And this is going to be at the beginning of something new. So yes, you're experiencing a death, but you're also experiencing a rebirth of yourself as a wiser, more aware, more wholesome human being. And the challenge for you is to take that desire to give to another and turn it around and begin to give it to yourself. It's a quest. It's a hero's journey, as I like to call it. And it begins with a call. And oftentimes we don't want to hear that call because it just hurts so damn much. Like we just want to feel good. Like, God damn it, we have so much work to do. Life is busy. It's like, why this? Why now? And this knocks us down to the ground. And now we're a puddle, absolutely, completely devastated. But are we willing to take up that call? Yes, we fell down 7 times, but are we willing to get up the 8th time? Take up the challenge and stand there for ourselves like no one ever stood there for us, not even our parents oftentimes. Are we willing to look down and reach for our own hand and pick ourselves up and say, okay, this is it. This is my turn to claim my life as an adult, as a responsible adult, to create the life that I've always wanted, myself. I'll give it to myself. All the things that you wanted the narcissist to give to you, you now give to yourself. That is going to heal your loneliness. That inner conversation you're going to have with yourself, that's going to create the most wonderful friendship of your life. And step by step, you're going to take the journey towards the life of your dreams. As they say, the longest journey begins with the first step. And the first step is usually the most difficult to take. But if you're willing to and able to really be there for yourself, like no one ever has been there for yourself, then you have a chance to become a truly free and sovereign being that no one will ever be able to manipulate. Because the wholeness that we sought in the relationship with the manipulator, and they saw right through it, and they played the game with us, telling us that they can give it to us. No one can give it to us but ourselves. So this is a challenge, this is a calling, this is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity, as much as it doesn't feel like it, but it is. It's an opportunity to really get to know ourselves like we never got to know ourselves before. And to really truly become free. And to heal the schism inside, the separation that was caused there when as children we were made to feel like there was something wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with a child. Every child deserves love. Every child is filled with imagination and ideas and the desire to connect and explore. Do not let that to be taken away from you. It is your right. It is your birthright to be who you are, exactly how you are right now. To feel all the feelings you're feeling. And to move in the direction that your heart takes you. Not somebody else tells you what you should or shouldn't do. This is your life. And you get to decide what you want to do with it. So take up this challenge, respond to that call, and meet yourself. Meet yourself in the deepest pit of abyss, of oblivion, of fear, of terror. Because if you can be there for yourself when you're that low, imagine the places you can go to when things start to get better. One of the things that the narcissist is so good at doing is killing our imagination and filling us up with self-doubt. He says that's why it can be so difficult once we come out of this terrible relationship to see the future, to see where we want to go. Nothing feels good anymore. So take a stand against that and begin to envision your future and begin to do things that will take you there. Remember, these people, they don't really deserve a second thought. What we're missing is not even the narcissist. We're missing the feeling that we had when we were with them. The feeling of wholeness, which only we can give ourselves. They were cunning, aggressive, manipulative individuals that have mastered the game of charm and acting. They can perform, they can mimic, they can mirror. That's really all they have. And ultimately, here is the truth that gave me chills when one of my viewers left a comment on my video. The truth is we don't really need them. Because all that we're missing all this time is for ourselves, to be there for ourselves. and for ourselves to give to ourselves all the love and attention we've been putting out. All we need to do is turn that mirror around. It's like taking a selfie. You switch the camera over the other way to be there with yourself. Look at yourself. Who am I? What do I want? Imagine if you took all that energy that you were giving to the narcissist and started to focus it on yourself. Oh my God, nothing is impossible. It might take some time to plan, you know, to put things in perspective, to clear things out. It's work, and it's difficult work, and I want to acknowledge that. It's not easy. But once things get a little bit lighter and better, and you begin to process all of these emotions and they begin to leave your body, you're going to be left with nothing but power. But the narcissist, they could never do that. They are the ones who need us to survive. They're like these robots that are walking around with these like these straws and cables connected to other people. It's like in the Matrix. They're sucking resources and energy from other people because they can't do it for themselves. They can't be there for themselves. They're kind of like emotionally crippled in that way. So they need to create this whole infrastructure that is built on these social systems that they have learned since they were little to prop themselves up. Because without other people, they're really nothing. They're really no one. And if there is a chance for them to heal and overcome this terrible condition, which I think that it's a choice. So there are cases when they're born this way, and there's just, I think, there's just no hope because it's something with the brain. It's pretty hopeless, and I think we need to study this more. But in most cases, I think narcissists can absolutely change if they want to, but they don't want to. I think the only way that they can be forced, I mean, they can want to, is to be forced to want to do that. And the only thing that can really force them to want to change and be different and work on themselves is if they're left completely without any supply. Because now that's the only last option. But that is not our task in this life. Our task in this life is to shine a light and be an example of what is possible for other people who are also suffering and who are giving their life away for others to use and trample upon. So don't be one of those people. Be the person who claims their life for themselves and shows the world what is possible to do when one loves themselves. Let's make self-love cool again and say no to abuse. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know, like, subscribe, and come back because I'll have more. I'm sending you a lot of love, and remember to let your inner compass guide you so that you can find the future that is unique for you, because you are unique and no one has the right to take it away from you. Take care, and I will see you in another video.